What's up, guys? JB Studios here. Major spoilers coming up for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. So let's talk about that ending, what it's setting up, and where we're obviously moving forward. Seen a lot of confusion and different thoughts and process on it. I personally think it's pretty clear what was going on, but there are some individuals absolutely misinterpreting the ending. So, basically, at the end, we see Peter Parker has decided that he's going to take some time off for the reason of, from what we can tell at least, kind of the way that MJ nods toward the garage with the Emily May Foundation stuff. It seems like he's going to try to uphold her legacy a little bit and get things kind of kick-started. Plus, he's kind of been through a lot in recent years with May dying and then him having to kill Harry, and obviously Harry does come back with Miles' new abilities, but he's basically saying, hey, Miles, the city is, you know, pretty manageable right now. Like, many of the villains have either been reformed or killed. So I think he's not so worried about, you know, Miles getting hurt or whatever. He's confident that the city is manageable enough for him to take a second to, you know, get things going. I've seen people say this is it, like Peter's done. Miles is now going to be the main character of the franchise, and, you know, Peter's just going to be a mentor character from the shadows. I don't buy that at all. I think that's absolute rubbish for many reasons. One, they introduced Carnage, Green Goblin, and the return of Octavius, which, you know, are all characters that are Peter's villains, obviously. And the moment big threats like that are involved, you think Peter's going to be able to look away? Absolutely not. Spider-Man never retires. It's not within Peter's character. He is forever Spider-Man. He cannot look the other way. If they want to write him out of character, then I suppose they can do that. I know the Ultimate Universe tried to do that when he returned from getting better from death. But then they even ended up changing that later, because we ended up discovering that after Miles got transported into 616, the Ultimate Universe actually didn't get destroyed. And we ended up seeing that basically Peter was active as Spider-Man in that universe. So the Ultimate Universe didn't actually retire Peter permanently. So, you know, it tracks. Peter never fully retires. It's not something he's able to do. So I think obviously they set up Goblin with Norman Osborn. He's coming to seek revenge, especially once he finds out exactly what happened. Namely, he's going to be more so vengeful towards Peter, because Peter's the one that actually killed Harry. And then, of course, we've got Octavius saying that it's the final chapter, which could be a reference to Amazing Spider-Man issue 33 with the rubble scene. So we're probably going to end up getting the in-game version of that, where he gets crushed by the rubble, which is really cool. That's actually my favorite Spider-Man comic book of all time, so I would love to see that partially adapted. I really hope they don't do the Superior Spider-Man. We just saw corrupted Peter, and I don't want to see it again. You know, unless they want to, I guess, do it this time with Miles, and Miles is the one that gets corrupted. And, you know, there's a brief arc where they do something like that. So maybe that could happen. I could also see even Miles getting like mortally wounded or even killed by Goblin or Carnage or someone like that, and that's what's going to kind of force Peter back into the costume to jump right back in and make his break a little, you know, kind of cut short. That's kind of what they did with Ben Reilly, as there was actually a moment in that, you know, in the Clone Saga book where Peter decided to take a break and let Ben Reilly become the Spider-Man. But then, of course, I think it was because of the Green Goblin, actually, that Peter was kind of forced to come back, and I think Ben died. So it's been a while since I've read those books, but yeah, they could be doing that just with Miles this time around. So that's a possibility. But yeah, I've definitely seen people saying, oh yeah, this is it, Peter's done, Miles is taking over. That's absolutely not true. If it is, then they can kiss a lot of money goodbye, because I've seen tremendous backlash already of people saying that they won't play the third game if Peter isn't involved. So I don't think they're going to be that stupid. I think what's going to happen is they're setting up a Miles sequel, because this game was not Miles' sequel, as I was saying for a very long time. This was Peter's sequel that heavily featured Miles. Miles is going to get a sequel of his own that's going to help set up the third Spider character within this franchise that they introduced at the very end, and that's Cindy Moon Silk. So he's going to get the chance to kind of play the mentor role a little bit within that. I think DLC is probably going to be a Venom-based thing. Hopefully they introduce Eddie Brock, because unfortunately Insomniac's version of Venom just absolutely removed all of the things that we love about Venom and his personality, because Eddie Brock just simply wasn't there. They almost, to me, he was more like Riot. his motivations, his concept of the Clintar wanting to take over the entire world and you know, feed on it and everything, and then like manipulating Harry into believing it was healing the world. That's all like Riot's, you know, trope and concept. So I think we still have the ability to see Venom proper within this universe. They could possibly just do the Lethal Protector storyline, especially because they did give us Venom gameplay, and I don't think they designed a playable Venom not to give us at least a DLC where we can full-blown explore Eddie Brock and Venom as a playable character. Plus, you know, with Carnage on the heels, and them heavily teasing the Knoll storyline, I could absolutely see them kind of exploring that. So that's what I'm thinking is coming. We're getting a Miles sequel, probably a Venom DLC for this game. And then for the third and final game, if within the Spider-Man franchise at least, I think that they'll probably end up doing crossovers with the fact that they're doing Wolverine and everything now as well. But I think it should end with, you know, Peter returning, obviously, back to work. Miles and Cindy can kind of help him out, maybe even Venom to a degree, to go up against his biggest threats yet, Carnage and Goblin. And then, of course, the return of Octavius with some crazy plan, a master plan, if they're going to call it that from the books. And I believe it should end specifically with Peter Parker remaining as Spider-Man, being married to MJ, and her getting pregnant. So that we can finally see Peter Parker balancing the two worlds of happy Peter Parker life while also never giving up his code. Because that's where the balance has to be found. You know, when Peter wins, Spider-Man loses. When Spider-Man wins, Peter loses. So we got to strike the balance, and that's what we want to see. So my goal or hope with this is that they finally do that. We get to see happy Peter Parker, family life, and he doesn't give up his code, because that's what we love the most about him, is that he's a guy that doesn't ever give up. You know, what did Miles' dad say? A hero is just a guy who doesn't give up. Well, if he stops being Spider-Man, he's giving up. So we gotta make sure that he doesn't do that. He can't retire and he can't die. That's gonna ruin the game for a lot of people. Maybe not for everyone, but for a lot of people, it absolutely will. So, yep, that's where I think it's going. What do you guys think?